Well, hello, and welcome to Stop Let's Team Up, My Legion Adventure, episode 85. Today we are covering Superboy. Officially, the comic book is Superboy, but it's got the Superboy and Legion of Superhero banner on it. 204 and 205, so we got three Legion stories to discuss, and Kirby's with me again to talk Mike Grell Legion. How you
Thank you,
doing,
Ross.
Kirby?
I'm doing real well. I'm always happy to talk about Mike Grell and especially his Legion work. So
Yeah. It's formative for me and some, certain Grell stuff I just love, and I've been buying it up. Now all I need is for the Warlord omnibuses to come out, because
oh,
that is one of the best things I've heard. They got to get it out. That
yep.
and yeah, so.
Then the
But
John Sable freelance omnis would be really good if they ever make those, but I don't know where those rights are.
He owns them, doesn't he? I would hope. But first is weird. They Chaykin's got his stuff gets published all the damn time.
Okay,
I think they're putting out another American flag Omni or some collection.
Oh.
That stuff is very of its time, and it's very pulpy, but it's smutty at times too. Like so, just very weird stuff. Weird stuff. But I like Chaykin, but I would not ever recommend his work to a woman because I think they get mad at me. Why is everybody in fishnets? Well, the guys are in fishnets too. So,
Yeah, well,
I'm gonna pull up Mike's Amazing World and Fandom Wiki because Mike's doesn't have as much detail as I'd like. But we're gonna start with issue 204, which has two stories in it. But for the issue, this is Superboy 203. Sorry. Cover date August 1974. Sale date April 23rd, 1974. It's still bi-monthly. I forgot it was bi-monthly. The first story is called Massacre by Remote Control. It's 21 pages. Let's go. Well, let's get to our first issue, which is issue 204. This has two tales in it, but let's go through the pertinent data. This is September, October 1974 cover date, issued on July 25th, 1974. It was a bi-monthly book. I forgot these books were bi-monthly. And 32 pages. These things were big. I forget how big some of these were, the bi-monthlies, so they could have two stories. So let's get started with the first story was The Boy Who Nobody Remembers. Is it nobody? Yes. The boy that nobody remembered.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just saying Legionnaire nobody remembered. Yep.
Yeah, the Legionnaire nobody remembered. This is written by Cary Bates. Of course it is. He writes a lot. Is he writing like half a DC at this point?
I think so, because he's like the regular writer on like all the Superman books at this point.
Yeah, he is. I didn't read a lot of those. I like Cary where I like Cary. I just this is not my favorite era of Superman, except the Kurt Swan art would be fine. Mike Grell is the penciler and inker. I love that at this time this is a new guy. He's still new, and that he's he's penciling and inking. I think they just didn't want to pay. I think they probably only paid him one page rate. Probably.
That's probably the answer.
Yeah. You're new. Why don't you do both for the price of one?
Okay.
Yeah. This is.
Do you want to talk about the Nick Cardy cover at all?
Oh, yeah.
I was just going to mention the Nick Cardy cover.
Yeah, it is a Nick Cardy cover. It is. Hold on, I'm going to it because I have to look it in the book because it's not on the damn app, folks. I love this cover. These are comics I remember reading right off the rack. So some of these covers really just, I've probably read that. I've read these issues of Legion 50, 60 times.
Yeah, and I really do like the perspective of this. I swear, issue 204 is one of the Legion issues I see the most in like back issue bins for whatever reason.
Really?
And I'm always just really struck by, for some reason, this issue, I don't know what it is, if it's just my location or what, but 204 I see like the most out of any other issue. Weird, especially when we get to 205, which I have a quick story to tell about.
Oh, cool.
That one, but
all right. Yeah, I do. I have a lot of feels for 205. That's a very special comic to me. and not because of the lead story. But there is a short synopsis in the fandom wiki for this. All right, so this so the pertinent data for 204, other than the publication date, we're going to go to the fandom wiki. It's executive editor Carmine. In fact, it is Carmine here. Nick Cardy cover, as we said. This is Carrie Bates, which I like about the fandom wiki. It does give us the letter name. Colorists still are not credited. I always find that strange. Carrie Bates is writer, penciler, inker Mike Grell, letterer Ben Oda, editor Murray Boltinoff. Legion roll call is Superboy, Brainiac 5, Colossal Boy, Cosmic Boy, Lightning Lad, Phantom Girl, Mon-El, and Saturn Girl. And introducing the Legionnaire we all forgot, and how could we, Anti-Lad. And now we're going to jump to the synopsis. The Legionnaire nobody remembered. In Legion HQ, the Legionnaires are gathered in front of a monitor and staring with puzzled expression at a picture where the young founding trio is welcoming a Legionnaire called Anti-Lad into the Legion, but no one can even remember him. Into the 75th century, a young boy and his father realize a glitch in the time stream caused the Legion to reject Superboy for membership. Such a change would throw history into chaos, so the youth goes back in time to audition for membership as Anti-Lad. He passes their preliminary test easily, and the automated robotographer takes a picture of him. Still, Brainiac 5 is suspicious as to why he never takes his visor off. Brainiac manages to get his hands on the visor and analyze it, and finds out it's Anti-Lad's power's true source. Cosmic Boy seizes his boots, and Brainiac finds traces of kryptonite on them. The Legion comes to the conclusion that Anti-Lad messed up Superboy's test. His mission achieved, Anti-Lad activates his time-smitter to transport him back to his era. He has also programmed his visor to implant in the Legionnaires a post-hypnotic command to forget all about him once he disappeared. They only remember that they've got to give Superboy another initiation test. And a single picture is left is the only evidence of the existence of Anti-Lad. All right. So, Kirby, let's talk about the non-splash page splash page. I find this very weird for a lead feature in a comic. You would never see this nowadays.
Yeah, no, we are like, this is like a very... It is a weird first opening page, because like we get an exterior shot of the headquarters, then they're just like randomly looking at a photo that they just kind of stumbled across.
Yeah, yeah, it's really weird, and it's drawn after a Kurt Swan retelling of the origin. That you can actually match it up. I saw that, and I can't remember the issue, but it's kind of an homage to his first appearance at the tables with the little fold-over name placards. And that it's odd. I like the tech of the photo to make it look old. He uses that grid
where
overlay.
It's like, it would be pixelated.
Yeah, that's kind of it's cool. But it's kind of like you're seeing the tag at the beginning of a television series.
Mm-hmm.
Where they set it up like, who was it with the first panel of on the second page you have Superboy, it's just his head going, who is Anti-Lad? And then you would get the theme song and then cut to what's next. But I like it. I remember this. This is one of those issues that's just super ingrained in my head, especially that image.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's excellent. I do, maybe not Saturn Girl's. She looks like Angel from Angel and the Ape. I don't know.
Oh yeah, she definitely does.
Yeah.
But I've read some of like that 80s revival they did, 80s 90s revival they did for like a miniseries.
Yeah, I remember that. It was weird.
But at least it was. But I'm like, I kind of dig it. But I'm glad that Grell did at least give Lightning Lad his cape for the photo. Like, That at least is a nice attention to detail.
Yeah, I like that. I do like his original costume. I like this costume. I think
Mhm.
this is a Cockrum one, isn't it?
Yeah, this is definitely his Cockrum era, which will, I think, be his costume from here until 5 years later.
Pretty much, yeah. This is some. He's got a variation of it with pockets.
Oh, okay.
When he would come back, when he's not a member anymore, and he would just come back. I think Giffen tweaked it, but not much. I mean, maybe put some seams or something. But then we get to meet Anti-Lad, and my first impression of this, he lives in 4500 in the 75th century. And he lives on he's on floating triangles above a polluted planet, it looks like. But you know what this felt like to me? The origin of the Samaritan from Astro City.
Oh, yeah. No, now that you say that, yeah.
Doesn't it? I
I,
mean,
I was I was also thinking a little bit of the Jetsons because they would always come out of the clouds and whatnot.
yeah, it's probably more the Jetsons at this point.
Yeah.
That's more likely. But it just struck me that. And then there is, this is where I see what you mean about in the future, human men will have penis heads. Because both
There's
human
no
and
other way to look at
have a
that.
seam over the top of their head. Is it consistent? Yeah.
Yeah, no, it is full. It is in every panel where you see the top of their heads, and there are times where, like the gutter or whatever cuts it off, but it is always there.
You know what, dude?
And
I've never noticed that, and now I'm not going to unsee it ever.
I'd say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
But and it makes it worse is who we will come to know as Anti-Lad says, I was time peeping into the remote past. And it's like, okay, they knew what they were doing here.
Yeah. Okay. So peeping, that has a different connotation in your time, because peeping, even innocent peeping, is still kind of like, what, are you looking at me without my consent, you freak? You know. So it's very strange. I do like Mike Grell's Future World kind of, some of the, you know.
Like, if Anti-Lad's head was covered up with the rest of the red, this would actually be a really good costume.
It is. It is a very early 70s Barbarella kind of Zardoff. You know what Zardoff is?
Yeah. Oh, God, I've seen that.
Yeah, never need to see Sean Connery.
You're fine, folks.
Don't ever. It's no reason.
Google it, folks. Google it now.
Oh my God. Okay. There's a British, no, UK comedian panel show, and someone makes a joke about the initials BBC, and the host is like, huh? And they all scream, do not Google it. Do not Google it. And he Googles it, and he goes, ah! And he throws his phone across the room. And then the comedians are all just like, oh, Jesus, dude, we told you, don't do it. But yeah, they all have it. I like this. It's a very Otto Binder, Jerry Siegel adventure comic fucking plot.
It really is.
But I like it. I like it because they're harkening back to the origin. So write it like it's John Forte drew this damn thing.
Yep. I like that even in the 75th century, they still have, like, dominoes in a crappy cardboard box.
Maybe these are family heirlooms and they're thousands of years old.
Oh, you know what? That works better for me than anything else.
Yeah. By the ancient game of dominoes. But see, you're not playing the game dominoes, dumbass. That's not the game. That's a trick.
Yeah.
Dominoes is actually a really fun game. But when you're a kid, you're taught to just fuck with them. So you never have a complete set of dominoes. And I'm the fifth child. We had incomplete sets of everything. But me and my little sister were like, hey, this doll's only got one arm.
Yeah.
Or I had beat up G.I. Joes, and if a leg broke, I just said they lost it in the war, and I would make them a crutch.
Yeah. Hey, you're being creative.
Yes, that was it. Thank God my dad was cool and would ask my brothers, what do we get Ross? And they would go, he'd really like this, and I'd get more of it. My dad was great at Christmas. He gave me Mego action figures.
Nice.
I got 3 of them, and what he did is and I got the mobile G.I. Joe Command Center. It was for the big G.I. Joe, but we only had one of those that had all his fingers. And they got me the Migos, and he unboxed everything and put a blanket over it. And when I pulled the blanket up, there's Batman, Robin, Aquaman, all sitting in or around the command center.
Nice.
Yeah, so I think he's going, what did I never get as a kid? Because I can't imagine my dad had he was a great guy, but his imagination wasn't like some of his children. He understood some of his children were readers and theater and stuff like that, and he's a big fan of it. And he took us to it, but it's wherever that tangent came. It's just back to it. Just I like the domino thing. It's just like Star Trek. At least they're not space dominoes.
Yeah.
The domino
like
game.
These would be octagons or whatever.
Oh God, yes. Oh, the Venusian octagon game, and then you do a domino effect.
Queen to Queen's level 3.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. It's just if you don't listen to Untitled I love it on Untitled Star Trek. They call it space things and space job and space food. Because I love Star Trek, but and it comes in 3s: real person, space person, real place, space place. It's a trope, but you've seen it. But I like this, and they have a time machine.
And they mentioned the science court, which I'm like, okay, so that's a clear evolution of the science police, just to try and give this a little continuity between 4,500 years?
Yeah, 4,500 years.
And Anti-Light gives himself a really cool Cyclops or Solar Man of the Atom visor.
Does look like Solar Man of Atom. I hadn't thought of that. I like it. They have to put an editor's note that it's got the original clubhouse.
Yeah, with the where it's like, how does anyone fit into that building? Because it doesn't look very big.
Yeah, it never made sense. And then when they brought it back in Legion, reboot, it made more sense because it looked bigger.
Yeah, where it's a giant building.
Yeah.
Like building, yeah.
But I like, okay, so he teleports in before, this is the era before Superboy joined, and we're seeing some of this retroactive continuity because at some point they've already showed that Superboy joined and who had joined before him.
Right, like even like Brainiac and Supergirl had joined before. So, and because I think they said because of Anti-Lad's time peeping, it screwed up Superboy's induction from Adventure 247. So that's their tick that their thing failed.
Yeah. Well, see, what I think about it, too, is because I read it and I reread it. I was waiting for him to go, that once you watch something, you change it. But they don't bring up that concept. They bring up the butterfly effect. And really, this is a bootstrap paradox, ultimately.
Right.
That, I've looked at it, so why is it different than what I know? Oh, because I'm going to go by and make it work. And then again, ultimately, you get to the end. It's like, I had to go back to make it happen. So, no, but it's cool. I like his entrance. So they challenge him to a fight outside? It's a tryout. It's a fight.
Yeah, why not? In Grell's art is definitely kind of improving with each page because his fight with Lightning Lad, you got some really cool poses, and then a very weird shot where he like raises his arms up and throwing Lightning Lad's lightning back at him, which makes
folks, it is really weird. It's like he's going, I gotcha. It's weird, but his fight scenes are great, and they're getting better.
Yeah.
He understands action motion. You know what I mean? Like the way he has like when Anti-Lad's fighting Colossal Boy and he changes his weight, which was that was a neat kind of trick. I like that. And
yeah. Yeah, and I'm glad like they didn't have Anti-Lad become as big as Colossal Boy. They kind of kept it like in a way like almost kind of pretty consistent. And this is actually something I wanted to bring up to. Anti-Lad is like a good version of Nemesis Kid.
Yeah, yeah. His powers adapt to his opponent. So yeah, I think I agree. I thought of that too. It's a nice one, but I like how he does it. This is like 3 pages of action. There's a lot of talking, which I have no problem with.
Mm-hmm.
I like hearing the characters express themselves, but you know what I mean. It's still very much the same kind of plot that you would have read, in the first 25 Legion stories.
Right.
And then we just got, they let him in and we see where the photo's taken, and now he's just kind of lounging about. But of course, Brainiac being the paranoid little dickhead, and Cosmic Boy's not a very trusting person. He just is not a very trusting.
No. But one thing that I do appreciate is we do have a lot more like body language kind of going throughout this, where in that kind of John Forte sitting, but then you got Brainiac 5 leaning up against the wall.
Yeah, they're not all lined up. They're not all in a line.
Yeah.
No.
You got Cosmic Boy sitting really weird on a table.
Yeah, he's like
one leg is up.
He's like giving Brainiac 5 the full Riker.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I heard that on the Mission Log podcast, and I've been able to unhear it. And it is truly when someone shows their crotch to you is the full Riker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is not. It's really kind of like, dude, cross your legs. You're wearing spandex. But like I like the nice hover footstool. I hope it's a footstool. He's not putting his feet on the coffee table. But I do. It is. There's even Anti-Lad is leaning back with his hands behind his head. They're all kind of just hanging out. And while he's sleeping, they invade his room and steal his equipment and find out he is not who he says. And it's the piece of because there's a piece of kryptonite inside the visor. That's what they think caused Superboy to fail his test.
Right. Now, to Bates and Grell's credit, they did show that Anti-Lad did travel back to the 20th century first before he popped back to the 30th.
Yeah.
To help with his ruse.
Yeah.
So I think that is a good attention.
Yeah. And I like it. And he of course there's a post, because they always had that thing that Superboy forgets everything other than that he knows the Legion. He doesn't remember the details in the past. He only remembers in the future.
Right.
All right. So overall, I like that story. I remember it as a kid because I've read this one over and over and over again, because I would just the new issue would come out and I'd go back 5 or 10 issues and I'd read it. Yeah, the new issue would come out. I mean, that was. And there weren't as many comics. I think that's the thing. It got to the point to where there weren't as many comics as a kid as there are now. So I'm not as my ADHD is definitely triggered by me rereading comics more in the recent last couple of years doing the podcast. So that's why I do 4 and 4s, people, because I don't have the bandwidth for a full straight. I'm reading nothing. I'm reading this 90% of the time because I want to get through it. But these are all very well read, and I have always liked them. They are so simplistic. And when I read these a couple months ago when I was going to do an episode by myself, and I went, I wasn't going to. The reason I didn't do it is because I thought I was going to badmouth them. And I went, I don't want to just sit here and badmouth this stuff. I'll read it again and see what happens. And I enjoyed it more. I kind of was back in a better mindset to read it because it's repetitive of what they've done before. It's something happens and everything's made right at the end. It's very, very TV-like in the way that everything resets, and that's the way this stuff came out. But I do like it. I think the design's good. I think the fight's good. I think the characterization, Cary Bates understands what each Legion is to a point, but he doesn't have the autonomy to do anything because of the way. Because he's just writing. I need 2 Legion stories that fill up 21 pages.
Yeah, I will say this story, and to a degree the next, is feels more like kind of a two day in the life of stories more than anything.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of the second one for sure. But I see what you mean in the first one, which is nice.
Because yeah, not every story needs to be the world, even the city's in danger. Sometimes a good story can just come from like some small interpersonal conflict or mystery.
Yeah, and that's what it is, and I think that's fine. That works so well for these things, and that's why they're still entertaining because there's nothing so out of control, and they're not. My problem with a lot of modern comic writing is when you get to the end, it's the universe, it's the galaxy, it's the planet. And, they don't have these small moments, but it's like Abusick months ago had put a tirade. Why not a tirade, but he just was a long-running conversation, and I jumped in a couple other people, and he responded to us about needing the water cooler moments.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes a great team book
Absolutely.
is the water cooler moments. I don't like an Avengers book when everybody's just throwing a big punch. I don't want a Legion story where they're all just flying in space on the way to the danger, and it's a lot of picture pieces. What I think hurts Legion reboots as they go along, there's less and less of it.
Yep.
There is zero of it in Bendis. There is zero.
There's a lot of
It is
zero in
it is
Bendis.
void of any interpersonal relationships with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But Wade's is a different one, but he's picking different characters, and that's fine. And I've not read past his. I'm still in him. I'm up to Supergirl, and I want to read that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I haven't gotten to the point. I know at the end it's a turd because I did read the shooter stuff at the end, and it's a turd.
There is one half decent issue in that, and that's it.
Yeah, but even Carries gets it, and I think in Bronze Age and Silver Age, especially in early Bronze Age, they're starting to go how much. We're not Marvel, we're DC, but how much interpersonal reaction can we have? And
Right.
that's what makes these
Yeah.
things hold up.
Yep. And they're testing the waters, and like I said, this one is totally fine. Is it my favorite combination of characters? Not really, but
Yeah.
it tells us a good story.
Well, we'll talk about when we're done with the three stories because I want to talk about lineups a little bit in these and
Okay.
in this era. So far. So we're going to move on to the second story in this issue, which is hold on, I have to move Kirby's head because it's blocking that.
It's not that big.
The next story is Brainiac's secret weakness. Yeah, it's not cool. I'm not sharing a room with that dude. So this one
Nope.
was cover date. It's cover date. It's the same cover date, same creative teams. Oh, and I didn't do the reprints. But these issues have been reprinted twice each. And in the same things, Legion of Superheroes Archives 11, which is where I read it. It came out in 2001. And Showcase presents Legion of Superheroes Volume 5, trade paperback in 2015. The lineup for this one is Cosmic Boy, Brainiac 5, Saturn Girl, Supergirl, yay, and Starboy, woohoo! And let us go to the synopsis in the Fandom Wiki, and we'll be right back. Brainiac's secret weakness. Brainiac 5, who has been putting in long hours and mooning over the absence of his loved Supergirl, has created a Supergirl android in his sleep, not icky, folks, and programmed her to love him. When Brainiac and Starboy go on vacation, the Supergirl android appears. Brainiac is convinced the android is the real Supergirl and that she loves him, so he resigns from the Legion and heads into a radiation belt in space by accident. He is rescued by the real Supergirl, but the android who reveals herself to them is destroyed by the radiation. Brainiac 5 rejoins the Legion. Supergirl tells him that she cannot cope with being a part-time Legionnaire until she gets her life straightened out. But she may, someday, return, and maybe they can pick up where they left off. All right. One, I want to say something. This is another one. I think all of these Legion issues were in this thing where there is no splash page. There's a splash panel and then other panels. And we jump to a part into the story. Just it's another teaser to we're going to see.
This week on Legion of Superheroes.
Yes, and I'll actually read in the caption. Of all the superpowered teens called Legionnaires, he was the brightest and the more level-headed than worldly men twice his age. The other members could always count on Brainiac 5 for sound advice and good sense, but no one is infallible, as you're about to find out when you meet Brainiac 5's secret weakness. Oh God, that makes it worse.
It really does.
So you got Supergirl carrying off her boy toy Brainiac 5 as he quits the Legion, throwing his ring to Starboy, and we're at the Starboy with the high and tight crew cut.
Yep. Yeah, it's a while before he gets the beard.
Yeah, the beard. This I do like this uniform. They always want to put a star on it inside the starfield early on, but it's never on the right tit the same time twice.
Right. I think here they've toned it down at least.
Yeah, it's only in the one panel. So.
Yeah.
Well, they're figuring it out because this is more. He's cutting out. He's drawing something in and scratching it off or something.
Yeah, I want to know how they if he took some like white out and put on like a toothbrush like I'll do for painting.
I think what he might have done is done an overlay. Like done on clear,
okay.
Put some black on it, outlined it, and then put black in certain areas, and then scratched out the white, and then added some definition in the black here and there, like there's little scratch marks. But I don't know. I'd have to see. I should have Googled original page. Hey, what time are we at?
We are at 31 minutes 17 seconds.
No. Folks, if that's still in there, sorry. That was for an edit thing. Because if I miss anything. But I like his version. I like this version of Starboy. I'm glad he's in it. Starboy is I just don't think he has a lot of personality in this era. He really doesn't get it back until Levitz.
Yeah, and with that, Levitz kind of does the reverse where Starboy is always pining after Dream Girl and whatnot. Just before we go on to the main part of the story, Bates is trying to do some future lingo here with cool up.
Oh, good. I'm glad you brought. Thank you. I've
30th century slang for calm down.
I was reading that last night. He said I should just tell Kirby at random point to cool up. God, that shit is stupid. That is just. I'm sorry, Carrie. That's just fucking stupid. It's hysterical.
Yeah.
It is Way to Eden, Star Trek.
Oh.
The one.
I don't know if it's that bad, but it's bad. It's not that bad.
But yeah, it is, and it's Saturn Girl. I hate this costume so much. The more enlightened 21st century me really has a problem with it at times.
Yeah.
And he makes her very stiff. I don't remember her being. And I think Supergirl's a little. Well, that panel of Superboy and Brainiac 5 flying off that's Michelangelo.
Yeah,
that is very much. He's just riffing on the Sistine Chapel.
Yes.
Or like a pinup. I think there's a little bit of that. Like Saturn Girl in that bottom panel, she's got her hand on her thigh and she's standing
with her butt to the camera too. Yeah, it's
hands on hip. And I don't think that he's doing. I think he's just giving her body language. But
right. I don't think it's supposed to be full 90s lurid gazing.
No. Yeah, I don't think it is. I think Mike Grell writes strong women. He writes women well. I think he.
Oh God, his Warlord alone, every woman in that is strong, smart, and sexy as hell.
What's his buddy, his best friend, the guy with the mace fist?
Oh, McKees.
McKees. Him and McKees are man, their women do not. I always remember it. It's man. Travis, man, what about your girlfriend and your daughter? Yeah, man, I'm not. Shut the fuck up.
You know what? When those Omnis come out, I know it's not a team up in any way, but I would kind of like if we could review that. Do a little review.
Oh no. Well, we have to. It's there isn't a Warlord thing out there. I think we got to do it, man. When they come out, we both got to do it. I think I got hyper focused on Omnis folks on Green Lantern and Green Arrow. They've been on sale. I got them. I got the 2 Mike Grell volumes. My buddy Ken was like, oh, is it Grell art? I said, oh, shit, no. Maybe first 15, 20 issues. For the most part, It's the Longbow Hunters. After that, he's got an artist. He's just writing it.
Yeah, it's Ed Harrigan. I just started my my blind read of that past Longbow Hunters
You've never read any of that?
last night. I think I might have read the first 8 issues, and then I did read the 2 issues where Warlord does show up.
It is very much like The Question. It's Grell. It's hard-boiled detective superhero stuff, really. I mean,
like I said, I'm reading it like as a companion piece to John Sable Freelance more than I am as like a Green Arrow in the DC Universe book.
I'll put it this way.
I'm fine with that.
I would put it to you this way. His Green Arrow is more formative to what we see in Green Arrow now than I think Adams and Denny them do a great job with him. But what people use nowadays comes more from Grell's run than theirs. Because it's not hyper-focused on Speed. Speedy's not using much until Smith comes back. And that's coming out. Oh, the Smith, Winnick stuff's all coming back in an Omni, and I'm very happy about that. So, I also ordered, well, I'm remembering it, the complete Jeff Lemire in a deluxe hardcover, and Andy Diggle's Year One in a deluxe hardcover. Very cheap. Very, very cheap. Yeah. So, it's... Sorrento, who Lemire works with a lot. So, but again, they very much, I think they're riffing on Grell. Does that make sense? I think this is Grell. Grell is formula for Legion, and I want to talk about that when we get to the end of these issues, and we'll probably talk about it every time I have you on during the Grell era, as we'll talk about the Grell era. But Starboy and Brainiac 5 are. You know, Brainiac's complaining he overslept. I never do that. And Starboy and him are going to go on vacation. And Brainiac 5 hasn't seen Stargirl for years, and he's still pining over her, and it shows them kissing. I like them as a couple. What's your take?
I think I think this is a good... there are 2 characters I'm always fine with them pairing Brainiac with. One is Lyle, the other is Supergirl. And I think kind of the way they do it here, maybe... not this story, but I do like them as a because it's a nice kind of contrast where Supergirl is dating, one of the descendant of one of Superman's arch enemies, and it reminds me of the Legion cartoon from JLU where it's like, now this boy Kara likes so much, does he have a name?
Oh yeah, I did like that in that one, and also I think the Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes that they did for the Tomorrowverse set of animateds, I thought that was a perfectly fine adaptation of Legion concept because they were true to it.
Yep.
Their choice of characters weren't the ones I would have picked, but you know what? Yep. They still wrote a good Legion story.
They did.
I liked it.
And just the top of page 3 where it's Brainy thinking of Supergirl and all that to me is a very Mike Grell art where it's, it's Brainy's head, a picture of Supergirl, him thinking of them kissing. I don't know. That's just a layout that I attribute more to Grell than anyone. I don't know if Neil Adams did that a lot.
I think Adams would do it a little more trippy dippy. It's kind of something I think it comes from Steranko too, where you know what I mean, where you're playing with panels. He's just not pushing it as far as he's gonna push it. Because when you get to Longbow Hunter, he does lots of stuff like that take up pages and double pages and. He's learning his craft. I mean, he's right out of the Army at this point.
Yep.
I do like the spaceships. I'll say it every time we see them. Their version of the Starship. It's fine. And the floating paradise world. Where are they going to? What is it?
It's just called Recreation Asteroid 7.
Oh, Jesus.
A man-made paradise of fun and pleasure.
So instead of DS9, it's RA7?
Yeah.
And Kara's there waiting for him. But, some mysterious person has showed up at the headquarters. And everybody's like, how many years has it been? I wonder who this is. Ooh. And you can see them in silhouette with their hands on their hips. None of us ever thought you'd return before. I don't even know who's saying this. It's either Cosmic War or Saturn Girl. It's not telling us who. And then the returning visitor. I thought about this a long time, and considering what the Legion once meant to me, I decided at least I owed you all is an explanation. And next, we're back at the luxury, the guest, and Brainiac 5's coming out of his hotel room, and there is Kara waiting, and they kiss. And then we jump to hours later, and Starboy's looking for his friend. They're supposed to finds out from the clerk that he had checked out, and she is told, "Oh, absolutely, a very pretty blonde wearing an S on her emblem was with him." And then he flies off.
Okay, that leaves zero room for doubt.
Yeah, come on. I would think you guys would know Supergirl if you know the Legion, but it's a big universe. Who knows?
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to say, Supergirl's last appearance in a Legion story, barring a cameo from the Bouncing Boy duo Damsel wedding, was at Action 387.
Jesus.
So it's been a while.
Well, see, and that's kind of why I don't have this Supergirl as a Legionnaire, like the Silver Age and Bronze Age Supergirl isn't a Supergirl I read except when she was like when Levitz and Giffens brought her back.
Mm-hmm.
These were just one and dones, and
yeah,
I didn't read a lot of Supergirl solo stuff, except the Peter David stuff, which is not Supergirl in any way, shape, or form. It's still a really good comic book, but it's not Supergirl. But I like this, and they're on the spaceship, so they're stealing the spaceship, leaving him there stranded. I'm quitting the Legion, but I'm stealing this $1 million spaceship and screwing you. Get home on your own. And they're flying off. And
just real quick, just because this is just a bugaboo I have with comics. I like that Grell actually gives Brainiac 5 and Supergirl's sleeves like weight to how they would actually look, and it's not just painted on skin tight.
I do too. That he has blouse, like so Starboy's is skin tight, but Brainiac's has always been pleated at the arm, at the wrist, and the pants, like they're baggy. They're work pants. He should have pockets. When he got pockets, it made sense. Well, no, because he's a scientist. He'd have equipment. It's kind of like when Henry Pym was Dr. Pym. I like that. So it's it's a Doctor Who thing.
Well, that gets us into a Star Trek discussion, but that's neither here nor there for them.
But Brainiac flies off, and they realize they're going to fly into Zoltron radiation. Oh wait, but someone Starboy calls the headquarters and goes, "It's hard to believe what you told us, Starboy." And then he gets caught up on something. Supergirl wraps her cape around Brainiac 5. The Zarda beams come in, and the cape's to protect him. She's super. She shouldn't. Next, you see Supergirl unwrapping him, and you realize that the person who had wrapped him up was not Supergirl, but an android, and that her cape had disintegrated, but Supergirl had arrived just in time to save him. And we find out that Brainiac 5 created this android. The android is telling him, "No, you created me in your sleep." Yeah, right. You programmed her to say that when you got busted with the sex toy, dude.
Yeah, dude, come on. Okay, so this is not Kirby being a pervert. I had to look up when the first heavy metal robot that looks a lot like this came out.
Oh my God!
This actually predates that, the Hajime Soriyama robot.
Okay. I see what you're saying, but I mean, it's just like he's like, "Oh, I fell in love with it." It's really creepy, and she's not offended by it.
It's weird. Yeah, no, this is clearly written by men in the 70s.
It's a sex toy. That's one, it's nasty, and two, she should be pissed. It's like in that Next Gen episode where Leah Brahm comes and finds out Geordi had a crush on a holograph Kirby, and was like, "You're fucking gross, man. Get the fuck away from me."
Yeah.
It is sketchy, it is creepy, and you wonder why Brainiac 5 loses his fucking mind later. No, it was already going. He's a perverted little incel.
Yeah.
It's super creepy.
I will say the second to last panel on page 8 where Supergirl's looking at him, I was like, that's just a great drawing of her.
Oh, which one?
Where she's just giving him the eye. Where she's giving Brainy the eyes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do like that. He does. I mean, I don't want to say this is.
He doesn't deserve it, but
no, it's creepy. You should kick him in the junk. I mean, really, give him a good Kryptonian squeeze down there, teach him a lesson. But the thing with faces, I think Grell does male faces very well. At this point, I think he's still having a hard time with women faces.
Yeah, which is true for a lot of comic artists.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, once you notice it, you kind of can't not.
Yeah. just get some other models. I mean, because he's definitely using models for the men at times.
Yeah.
So I'm saying it. So that's it for 204. I liked it. I was entertained by both. One, I was more a little tittering at the end and going, man, when I was a kid, I did not see anything wrong with it. I do see something wrong with it.
Yeah. No, it does not exactly hold up to modern sensibilities.
No, it doesn't anyway. I mean, and there, it's an innocent thing. He's lonely, misses his girlfriend. It's like nowadays you would be going, well, I think maybe Brainiac needs to see a therapist.
Yeah.
Just
go out on some other dates, dude.
Yeah.
Something.
Date Lyle. You said that, and I was thinking in my head, it's like, why didn't they ever make Brainy gay? You could him and Lyle as a couple.
I think they hinted at it during the reboot era.
Do they? Oh, then maybe that's why it's stuck
very
in my head.
subtle, and they don't do enough with it, but it's hinted at.
I think that makes. I think that I would have liked not that. I like that version of Lyle to work. I really do like him. I just, I miss Jacques. I mean,
I'm a Jacques guy myself.
I'm a Jacques. I think the core of my favorite part of Legion in that era is Jacques, White Witch, Block, and Timberwolf's friendship. They were kind of a foursome.
Yeah, because they all kind of join around this. Well, not exactly around the same time, but they're pretty close together.
Yeah, and Block is that Spock character. Jacques is that, he's kind of like Geordi.
Yeah, he's kind of the young new guy.
Yeah, stouts himself, but he's actually way braver than any of them. Remember? I love White Witch. I love her. She's so sweet. It's the sweet version of her sister. And I think Levitz really understood Timberwolf's voice. And really just nails the broken little boy in him. There's a reason he acts that way. He's a little broken.
Yep.
I like it.
And Timberwolf, to me, is kind of boring outside of when he's interacting with Block. And we've talked about great.
But I think that's shown because he's bad communicating with his girlfriend.
Oh God, yeah.
Him and Saturn Girl aren't going to do anything wrong in that issue. It's just his perception. No. And that's what they're trying to say. But it's just like he's a broken soul, and I like it. I think we see that form here in this era. And we're seeing some of that. But until Shooter comes back a little bit, and really until Levitz won, and you get and everything, they start going. He starts going. Okay, we're going to stop tiptoeing around the water cooler moments. You guys have built great characters. I've got binders on how these characters interact because Shooter does all that. I think there's less personality in here. They're just glomming off of the personalities that Shooter and Boltnoff did in the Shooter Swan kind of era in here. So, all right, let's move on to 205. It is a 100-page giant. I sold my copy a while back. That wasn't in the lot you bought of my stuff, was it?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
This is, and just real quick before we this was actually the last issue I needed to have my full Bronze Age run of Legion. So this is an issue I've probably read the least, but it sticks in my mind as, okay, once I got this, I could then do my full 20-year Legion read through.
Man. That's cool. I like that. I like it when your last issue is a really important one and not some wanky, stupid one. Because I think any of the 100-page giants, I would love them if they did these in like treasury editions.
Oh, like those facsimile they've been doing? Yeah.
I think they should do them. Marvel's doing that. They're going to do a giant size Omni, but it's just the new stuff. That's all the giant size, that way I'm going to get it because it's got all 5 giant size man things. I just like saying that. And the Tomb of Dracula, all that stuff. Oh, Tomb of Dracula Omnibus, not Volume 1, Wolfman : is coming out at the end of the year.
Okay, so that will probably be. I will finally give that a shot because I'm sure,
Yeah, dude. It is. I understand why people don't like his superhero, but his Night Force in this is him and Gene Colan. It's a match made in heaven. They really do get the job together. It is. No good.
And then I'll I'll go back and listen to some of Billy D's episodes on Tomb of Dracula. So I'm like, okay, I need to see what Billy's thinking
Yeah,
here.
you know what? I bought that Phantom Stranger one, and I'm not a big one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I did because there's a lot of stuff in that I've never read, and some really amazing people worked on his stuff in the Bronze Age, and
Oh
it's got
yeah.
the 5 Silver Age issues in it, which are really good, beautiful art, man, beautiful, beautiful. One of them's Don Heck, and you wouldn't know it.
Oh wow.
But these giant size ones are great, and I love them. So this one was December 1974 cover date, August 22nd, 1974 release date by monthly Murray Boltinoff. Also see Guide to DC Giants. Ooh, I might have to go look at that on Mike's Amazing World. It's again Cary Bates, Mike Grell. It has been reprinted. The story we're going to be doing is the Legion of Super Executioners. Yet another throwback kind of title. Roll Call, Brainiac 5, Karate Kid, Mon-El, Shadow Lash, Shrinking Violet, Superboy, Ultra Boy, Wildfire. Guest starring Lana Lang as Insect Queen. And we get to see Jonathan Kent, Martha Kent, and Pete Ross. The Legion of Super Executioners. Superboy takes Lana to the 30th century to reunite with the Legion, but they find out that Ultra Boy has apparently gone insane, and when Superboy leaves to find an antidote, the other Legionnaires bind Ultra Boy and Lana for execution, and then Superboy rescues him. That is a very lame synopsis. And these are all coming from the Wondom Fandom Wiki DC database page. It's great. It's a real good source of information. I like it for the trivia stuff, so please support them. So, let's talk about this cover. It's a Nick Cardy cover, and these things were great. They would always have panels of the 3 big stories and then a bar at the end. So you get to see Nick Cardy drawing Ultra Boy and Lana Lang getting killed by a firing squad and Superboy not being able to stop them. Then we get to see the Outcast of Superheroes, which is the Legion reprint in here. So this is, oh God, it's such a good reprint.
Yep.
And the Superboy story, it's a Wayne Boring Superboy.
Oh,
is it?
Oh, is that who that?
Well,
I'll be honest, I've never actually read. Let's see, art is George Papp.
Damn it. I feel bad because I love George Papp. I bought a Green Arrow omnibus just because it's all George Papp going Green Arrow in the 40s. It's fucking gorgeous. Folks, the best title ever, the Monster of Gaytown was the name of it, or the Haunting of Gaytown was the name of the story. And it was an amusement park with a big devil over the door, and it was Gayland. The amusement park was called Gayland.
Sorry, that me. I was just doing a bit for Ross. I'm sorry you can't see that.
It's a very weird. It's a neat comic. It's just a Batman comic, and there it's 2 dudes and bows
sure.
and arrow. But it's really, the Papp art is amazing. It is really, really. It's very Sunday strip, and I like it. But those are great panels. I like Nick Cardy. His Karate Kid looks constipated and Japanese. That's about it. And Mike Grell looks like he sells pizza.
Okay, I was thinking the exact same thing. But I'm like, is this racist if I say he looks like he should be on a pizza box?
Oh my God! I saw a stand-up comedian talk about. Never mind. I can't say it. It's a great one. I'll post it sometime on a link. I share some of these people was talking about it. Makes an Italian joke, and I don't know if he really should make it, but I found it very funny. But yeah, he looks like a cartoon guy that, in a 50s, a 30s movie, is the Italian maitre d' at a restaurant, or in the Godfather, he's one of the, people in the background. And the splash page on this is a more traditional splash page. You've got Ultra Boy wearing some cool goggles. He's tied to a wooden pole, as is Lana Lang, and she's doing a swoony 1950s movie, teenage character. Grell's drawing her like she's in a teenage,
romance comic.
Yeah, it is. Well, see, I think that Cary Bates with the last story is this your version of a DC romance? But I understand doing we just did a story where it's all about, I don't have love in my life. The one person I've loved I haven't seen in years, it's messed up at the end. But this one is, you got Ultra, Mon-El, Phantom Girl, Karate Kid, Brainiac 5, and Wildfire, all who have most of them have superpowers that could zap them, but they're using these egg beaters to shoot ray beams at them.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Grell does good space stuff, man. When he does what's his sci-fi one?
Star Slayer.
Star Slayer. Oh God, it's Jesus, man.
I only have like 2 or 3 issues of that.
It's a lot of people in thigh-high boots and speedos, and I'm talking about the dudes.
Yeah,
it is.
It's
a little bit the Barbarella space stuff. So this, I'm going to read the caption on this one. What's this? The Legion of Superheroes are extraordinary teens who have always used their incredible powers to protect others and preserve life, have now unanimously condemned 2 of their own members to death. When he finds himself at war... I've skipped the line. Yes, it's true, but that's only one of the surprises in store for Superboy when he finds himself at war with the Legion of Super Executioners. I do like those.
Solid title.
So cheesy. It is so throwback. All of these are really kind of a throwback, I think. It's like, I don't know if they're doing it intentionally or just that's the model for the... Because these are all got to be one and dones. They've all got to reset at the end. Nothing can go over. But I think this one's good. They're showing Clark. It's Lana's birthday, not Clark's birthday, but they're at the park.
I thought they were at Lana's house because that doesn't look like any Ma or Pa.
Yeah, that's what it said in them. It's like it says it's Mom, Pa camp, but it's not. It's Mr. and Mrs. Lang, or Mrs. Lang and Dr. Lang. Professor Lang. Isn't he a professor?
I think so, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Don't her powers come from some stupid thing he did or something? I don't remember. There were way too many scientists in a small town in Kansas.
Yeah.
Or upstate New York, or wherever they thought Smallville was back then.
Pennsylvania, I think, at one point.
Yeah, I have that DC Atlas for the game.
Uh-huh.
So I know where the places are.
Nice.
They arbitrarily. It's the only game stuff I kept. I'm trying to sell a couple more of my role playing books. I don't play the game, so make space on the shelf for stuff I'm gonna read. But Superboy's gift is he comes in and he's gonna fly Lana to the 31st century to see some of her friends in the Legion as she is an honorary member in the guise of Insect Queen.
Real quick before we continue, this is something that I've always kind of thought is, so this Superboy scene has to take place in like the, I don't know, say the 50s maybe?
Yeah, to 20. Yeah.
But it's like he has a 70s haircut still.
Yeah, and he looks about 19 or 20.
Yeah.
He's an adult. Grell does not draw them as children. They're in their 20s, which I'm fine with. Let's have some age. So Superboy lands. They're greeted by the Legionnaires, and they say something bad's happened. They go inside, and the monitor room has been trashed. And in a triple security cell is Ultra Boy, and he's tied up in a force field on an electric chair with cameras and ray beams. And they
and he has the runs.
Yes. Is that what it is? I got a crap. Come on, man. Let me go to the gym. There's no toilet in here. These pants are tight. So they tell him he's gone insane. Something it's an affliction, but it hasn't turned up in the bank. So they send Superboy off on a mission to find the cure, and then you.
Before they do that, they do have Superboy wants to try and talk to Ultra Boy to try and calm him down, and they have a quick little scuffle where Ultra Boy ties Superboy up with his own cape.
Oh yeah, this is a nice fight scene too.
Yeah.
The bottom of page 6 where he's whipping off the cape and the cape's flying up.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, also, use a cape. It works. You know what I mean? It's just not decorative because it would be used against you.
Yep. And we're still in this era where Superman's clothes are as invulnerable as he is.
Yeah, I'm so glad they got rid of that.
I kind of go back and forth.
I think the closer to the skin it is invulnerable because it's inside whatever energy field that he's generating. Sure. I kind of like what Byrne said, that when he's flying, he's changing. It's less more flying than it's a bigger power that if he's trapped inside a ship, he's not really lifting something super heavy. He's just using his ability. Anything he's touching, he can make fly.
Okay.
Yeah, because that explains why the buildings stay together.
You stay together, whereas they would really collapse in a
Oh, the minute they
heartbeat.
tipped halfway,
Yeah.
Superman go, oh shit, why am I buried in rubble? What's all this? Oh, that's dead people. uh, but Ultra Boy knocks him out. But they don't show how they calm down Ultra Boy, except Superboy wakes up. What the fuck? What happened? Do they ever say what it is?
Well, before the reveal, no.
Okay. Do they say in the real? Okay.
Yeah, they did.
Oh yeah, because then they're talking about it. It's people believe that it was. Brainiac 5 goes there. It's this unexplained madness. He thinks he even goes. It could be caused by demons. People believe that exorcism, driving out spirits that possess them, was their only chance for cure. But experiments made 300 years ago in the 27th century proves that these fits of madness are brought on by a virus, a strain so rare.
Because I didn't remember how this issue went, I was kind of hoping we were actually going to get a Legion exorcism.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that too. I had forgotten a little bit about this one. It all came back as I read it. Brainiac 5 has to put a video cassette in to show them the planet with the crossed rings, which I think is kind of cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would happen, but if it did, it would be I'd like to see that in a Star Trek episode or something. Nice CGI planet.
Oh, yeah.
But Superboy goes off on his mission, and at that moment, Mon-El seizes Lana, and they're going to give them... they sent Superboy off, and you find out that the Legion are all being... They're all being... Something's wrong with them.
Yep. And they've been injecting Ultra Boy with basically wait. I suppose that means it's time for another shot of that madness drug you've been injecting me with. So are they just like? I gotta imagine it's like some sort of ultra heroin / meth.
No, meth would he would have shat himself. Not shat himself because he would be constipated because heroin makes you never shit. You literally stop shitting. But it's more like PCP, rage. That's coming from really shit you're not supposed to put in your body. Hence the reaction. Heroin is a pain. Opiates can be used reasonably. In very small doses. But PCP, this is more like PCP in the 80s in DC. But he gets in a fight and Karate Kid takes him down. Because Karate Kid is a bad motherfucker.
Yep.
And then we find out why are you did you guys add these execution poles in the courtyard of the Legion, or were they there all along?
The Legion gets to some dark stuff in between pages that we're never privy to. It explains
some of the females' costuming.
Yeah.
And wait, eventually, Cosmic Boy's he's in a corset. He's probably getting whipped by somebody. Night Girl.
Okay, so here's my question. So they say that Superboy and Ultra Boy could not be affected by whatever's causing it. So how come Mon-El and Wildfire, who are the other two strongest members present, are affected? I don't think they ever explained that.
I don't know. I don't think they explain it here because I don't think they remember how Ultra Boy's powers. Did they ever mention he can only use one at a time?
Yes, that's why they put the goggles on him. That way he's being forced to use his laser blast or penetravision. So that's why they can shoot him with the ray guns and kill him.
Yeah. So this I like this execution scene. I mean, I think it's all this. It's really good, Grell. It is so good.
Even Lana's terrified face, I think, really does work.
Oh, when she's biting her lip, crying.
Yeah.
And him is the look on his face where he's telling you she's sorry.
Yeah.
And when they're executed, they all go inside, but they leave the bodies there.
They don't even check. They just no, we're just going to leave him alone and assume it worked.
Yeah, and the poles they're on have been disintegrated and destroyed. We'll just leave them there. And they've been playing possum. And he's like, yeah, we should be dead. And then you hear the voice off the panel, I can answer that. Superboy, you saved us. I'd given up hope my clue got through to you after all. Of course, there's a trick, like an allegiance story. But no,
Yeah,
but this one, but I will say this. It is shown. The fight scene and the knot work as a fight scene and the knot. We don't hear Superboy going,
Yeah, no, this works. This is a really well done, twist reveal.
I wish Siegel and Binder and them in the or Silver Age where it just happens. It's like which one of them is doing something in the background that he's not telling his teammates. You people are dysfunctional. But
on my home planet of it says Nimbor. That should be Rimbor.
It's Rimbor in this.
Oh, okay. Because in my copy, it definitely is Nimbor.
No, I can see the cut and paste line too. I can see where R was pasted over the end.
Oh.
Yeah, there's a little sketchy line in the reprint. So when they did this, they didn't even white out. There's a seam. I'll see if it shows up in a photograph. I may post it because
I'll take a picture and send it to you.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I like those weird things when they correct something. It's like when someone asked on a podcast, was it? I don't know whose it was. It was a Legion one I was listening to. I was trying to Legion of Substitute podcast. I've been jumping in and out, listening to stuff or parts of episodes, and they were talking about, was there a green character always in the background? Well, I still had my copy of Adventure 247, and it's no. And further reprints that one of them is colored to be green, so that was cool. And I compared it to the two. So then we get to see how he did it. He just flew by super speed and absorbed all the rays. He took it to the junk, to the abdomen, to the chest, and to the hands.
Yep.
It's like, ow. Yeah, I'm okay. Just took a razor beam to the jewels.
Yeah, thank God it wasn't like Red Sun somehow too, or I would be in trouble.
And then we see Lana's turned into her Insect Queen costume. I like that costume, and why isn't Lana an Insect Queen in the DC universe? Just make her Insect Queen.
And again, Grell makes it a very Silver Age costume look really good here.
Yeah, it does, and I like her with the bug body that the pretty girl is kind of monsterish.
Mm-hmm.
And they go in and they're building a supersized version of their spaceship. And they've all been taken over by somebody. That's all we know. I'd say it's a huge space ark. Whatever the Master plans to go, he expects to take the entire Legion with him. It's basically because Ultra Boy was immune to who's ever controlling the other heroes. And I was for a second thinking, is this a Universo story? I had forgotten.
Yeah, I forgot
I dropped it, and it's just this little obnoxious guy with an egg on his head. You know what? He's future Jeff Bezos. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's his dildo helmet. That looks like his rocket ship.
Yeah. Yep.
So Lana flies off, and they don't know why, but it's because she's now under the control of the Master. And she shoots web out her butt, and then she turns into Spider, shoots web out of her butt, and then turns into a wasp and stabs him in the back. Then
we get one of the creepiest villain plans I've ever heard. So this is the Master. Because when it's completed, your Legion and I shall abandon the Earth to go on an ideal little planet in another solar system where the Legionnaires will live out the rest of their lives under my command and raise a new generation. Think ahead, Superboy. Those children will be superpowered like their parents, and they in turn will give birth to offspring of their own. Generation after generation, the Legionnaires will keep multiplying themselves into the hundreds.
Okay,
Finally,
now wait a minute.
It's
not Jeff Bezos. It's Elon Musk.
Yeah.
Oh, you creepy people. Creepy.
Yeah. So it's to make a weird genetic super army by just nonstop Legion orgies.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, right? I'm not misreading that.
No, it is. It's creepy, and he's going to sit there and watch.
Yeah, he's not the Master. He's the masturbator.
Yes, that's it. It's just he's a voyeur and a cuckold, and it's gross. And then we find out that Lana was like, hey, I couldn't resist your command to sting Ultra Boy, but I could change to a non-vet poisonous wasp that wouldn't be fatal. And Superboy picks him up. They smash the helmet. Superboy picks him up. I'll take care of the master in our triple security cell until the authorities can be put him down. Put me down, I say. And then the other ones all come out. Everything's. How did they mind Mel Drake?
I was thinking that too. He's all antimatter in there.
Yeah, he should be the one that could,
They couldn't. Yeah. And plus, it's like he's still the new character. You use him to kind of, prop him up, give him a little more screen time.
I will say that it's another great. I think this is a really good. It's a fun comic. It's what you're paying. What was it? 100-page giant? How much was it? 60 cents.
60 cents.
Jesus Christ, man! What a bargain. But it's got good action. The art's incredible. I just can't imagine what kids. I remember what I was thinking when my brother Huey gave me the season. This guy's like the next Neil Adams. Because it's him and Cockrum and Adams and people are coming in. It's a change in style.
It really is.
And this stuff still holds up. The stories are simple, but it's great. It is incredibly creepy.
Yeah. No, it is.
At least it's not a Legionnaire being creepy. So
yes. But we at least have the villain being super creepy.
Yeah. So does yours meet Iron Mike Grell?
Yes, it does. So it gives him a little synopsis where it talks of how he met his wife, who would actually go on to ghostwrite his last year or so of Warlord. How he kind of got into the industry and all that, along with a self-portrait of himself surrounded by Superboy, Phantom Girl, Saturn Girl, and a little Aquaman in a fishbowl, which I just noticed.
Yeah, I thought this is great. I like his drawing, how it's real, and then there's the cartoony version, and it's showing the characters he's drawn at this point, which is just Aquaman in the Legion.
Yeah, because I don't even think he hasn't even gotten into Green Lantern or Green Arrow.
Oh
yet.
No, he's about 5 years away. But I forgot he worked on Brenda. He worked for Dale Messick when she was doing Brenda Starr.
Okay.
And it was Alan Asherman and Irv Novak who got him hooked up with Julie, who then was introduced to Joe Orlando, who introduced him to Maury Boltinoff, and then he became a Legion artist. I like that. And also they have the Legion, Lore of the Legion pages.
Yep, let me flip to those real quick.
These are Cockrum still, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are still Cockrum drawing.
Chemical King. You don't have long for this world, Kondo, Ehrlich. I really would like someone to do a story set and because he appeared. I didn't doing this, folks, when I was doing the late adventure stuff and Into the Action. Chemical King was in almost every issue because Shooter created him, and I don't know why he switched over to that because he wanted to use the character he created, and I guess there are people. Gene is his name. Gene Gonzalez isn't. This is his favorite character, I think, online.
Yeah. And I always forget about Chemical King.
I do too, and he's not gonna. He doesn't. Him and Lyle don't make it out of the Grell era.
Yeah, I thought Chemical King died earlier.
No, I think he's still alive. Doesn't he? He's still alive in volume 11 of the archive, so he doesn't die for a bit.
Okay.
Oh, no, because he dies in the Earth War. That's Levitz.
Oh, he dies in Earth?
Yeah, he dies in Earth War. He dies in Earth War, putting it. I think it's where he dies. We could Google it, but I don't. But the third page is all Kurt Swan, George Klein, lovely Pharaoh Lad, Elastic Lad. It's all the honorary members.
Yep. And one thing I do like that in addition to brief bios, they say who's dating who and whose parents are still alive. I don't know. I think that's a nice little thing, especially if you would have to tell them the 100 pages were kind of designed to a sort of anyone jumping on point, sort of, maybe? Or...
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. It was a way to use their reprints. They'd get more and they would sell more because no one had see. My brother had he may have read those adventure comics, but we didn't have them right away. I remember, I think I found them at the comic book store, which was the name of the shop I went to on Richmond Highway. I think I might have bought those because I want to talk about that. These 100-page guides are great, especially because they would always have, like, Justice League would either have a Justice League reprint. Well, it would have a Justice League reprint. It would have then a JSA or a Seven Soldiers of Victory reprint in it. And Legion would always have a Legion reprint from somewhere, and then a Superboy reprint, because technically this book is still Superboy. Its official name change isn't for another decade.
Yeah, because at some point it at least changes to like Superboy and where here it's still starring.
Yeah. So once the starring goes away. But this is where I read the Outcast Superheroes two-parter for the first time, and it is still a top 5 Superboy story. It is my favorite of the Silver Age. I mean, and that's saying something, because I mean there is the death of Pharaoh Lad. There is the introduction of Fatal 5. There's the Stalag in space. There's some really good. What's the Universo story two-parter? The one Chain Gang.
Chain Gang, yeah. There's the one. There's the one that they reprinted with Mordru. That's another really good one.
But this is one I really like. Everybody's in it. This is where I first learned about some of the people. I fell in love with Starboy and Dream Girl in this, even though they're not really fleshed out, because I like that story. I like them coming back. I like the idea of Surprise and Mysterious. They're fucking great names. The costumes are very 1950s. It's such a good story, and the art is. I think that era of Shooter, Boltinoff, Swan, and Klein. It's just such a sweet spot.
And I think is this also the first appearance of White Witch?
Yes, another thing. She's very Rita Hayworth.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, but I like how they bring her back, and she's the Hag in. Yeah. Isn't she the Hag? Yeah, she's the Hag in that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, and all the little side stories that go on, and the different villains, and it's just insane. Is that your?
No, I think that's on your end.
That is. Folks, I live between 2 fire stations on a big road. Jesus. Get out of here. But yeah, it's just, these things were great, man, and they would have the pinups with the people in the costume, and when I was a kid, and we had a good run, and Legion was something I would fucking start at the beginning and reread it like every fucking year. And I've really slowed down on my Legion. One reason is I haven't recorded in a couple weeks because work's been crazy. We just spent $4,000 on my little cat monkey. So for 2 days I was just working and stressing that my little terror creature wasn't feeling good. But I really wanted to read more Legion, and I kind of went, I will jump ahead to do this. It's I'm enjoying. Not, even though they're big gaps, it's like I'm kind of reading through it again. But these were good. I like these ones. But the 100-page giants made when I was a kid, I'd go back and read it, and the learning of it and wanting to know who's in what until they had books that showed you who's in what. I don't think there's a good one for Legion. I think that I've got the first Legion companion from Tomorrow's. Didn't they do a second one?
That might be some Legion Ephemera. I don't have.
Yeah, I just would like a guidebook that has all the stuff in it. I mean, there's stuff on the web, but everybody has a different take, and some of the websites are very dated, or they're maintained by people of my generation, and maybe some of yours and Jimbo's, after that. But I don't know if there's one that's super. I remember going on the Outpost and stuff like that, but I don't know. Is there a site, a good one? I mean,
Not off the top of my head.
yeah. So I mean, because I used to want to know that which order the leaders were in. You sent me an image of it. You found it in the letters page. I knew where that was.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in my head. Oh, I need to figure out because I love knowing it because I voted in later last 5 elections. I voted. Always voted for Element Lad.
Solid choice.
Yeah, and he won a couple times finally. Because he was always, it's weird, he was runner up a bunch of times before. I mean, I think that's how he got it. And Dream Girl, I think Dream Girl won it and they hadn't really done much more with her. They had done 1 or 2 new things with her, and she got elected, and that was like, wow, that makes us do this. And that was neat about them. Like, some of the input back then was it changed how the stories were going to go.
Yeah, like you have Polar Boy joining, and then pretty quickly becoming the leader.
Oh yeah, because there was people my age. Fuck him, he should be the leader, because he's been a leader. And who was this deputy?
Wasn't it Element Lad?
Yeah, it was Element Lad. It was Element Lad because the next one was Censor Girl and Timberwolf.
Yep.
Which was a good choice. I like that team because he was like, what the hell? It's like, yep, you got to be a leader. I love that. I think it was going well. I think I like 5 years later. I'm one of the people who do. I like the first half a great deal. I have the same problems with the back end that everybody else has. Just because it does everything a comic does when it's jumped the shark and then rolled around and decided to jump it a second time. But I wouldn't mind someone just telling, with all the time they fucked up time, that the last thing we saw at the Magic World War and the Galaxy in Ruins, show me that. What happened after that, as if 5 years later is it, and have, like, say, and even tell the story and have Brainy go, hey, I remember, I'm just going to, someone knows it.
Yeah.
And just say things have changed because of all the times we fiddled around with the universe. You can do it. Look what they did with Green Arrow in Stargirl and the Lost Children. And you find out, oh, no, I am. We went back in time, and that's why Speedy became a junkie because of the trauma of being trapped. And went, oh, that's so simple yet complicatedly comic book elegant. But you could reboot it because we're right. I've got 2.5 archives before Levitt's. Because the first non-archive is the Earth War. Or right before it.
Yeah, which Ross, if you're talking with someone else about Earth War, I'm gonna be sad.
No. That's probably but that's why I'm gonna have you and probably someone else because there is a huge shift in tone in comics.
Oh God, yeah.
And every Legion fan, me and my brother were like, "What the?" He was like, "Read this now." It's so good. It's good. But these are fun, and I mean, I got a lot of Grell. There's some weird ones in here. I thumbed forward. We got the Future War. We got Universo. We got the Ghosts of Element Lad.
Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of another issue.
No, this is the one. Yeah, we got a retelling of the triplets. We got another giant star, 100-page giant that has the Legion of Supervillains.
Okay.
I forgot they were in that. It's just 4 of them. Got some other Karate Kid, the Karate Kid Who Will Save the Princess issue.
Okay.
And
how much longer until we get Karate Kid in his good costume?
Not that far.
Okay.
And it is the backup story it's the one with the zombie soldier from the past. 210.
Yeah, that one.
210.
Okay.
And by then the Grell Superboy head and then the Legion heads on the top banner are in place. And Shooter is taking over the writing.
Right, because I remember there is a period where Shooter and Grell either switch off or
Shooter and Bates, yeah, they either do,
or Bates,
they take turns. One does one does. Well, I think it goes monthly in there. And Shooter's back. I think he's graduated high school or something. Yeah. Or he's been to college or something. But his stuff's better. It's I enjoy it more than I do most of the Carey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I am really I have to go into an open mind like I have to do with others. A lot of Carrie Bates stuff when I was a kid just didn't sing to me. It was a little too little. It just didn't. I'd cross that line. I wanted Denny O'Neil. I wanted Steve Englehart. I wanted I wanted Archie Goodwin. I wanted the next generation of writers.
Mm-hmm.
And even Carrie's part of that generation, but he writes like the generation before. I think it's
Yeah.
why he wrote Flash for so long, because Flash fans at that point wanted Barry.
Yeah. And to me, Bates, like, he does some amazing stuff. And for some of his weaker stuff, to me, it's always like, it's quaint and all of that. So I'm a lot more forgiving.
Yeah, he's doing DC House style, and there's nothing wrong with it. He's doing it well. It's just not my cup of tea.
Sure.
But these were better.
That.
I mean, there is the creepy sex toy thing. Is it as bad as Fairhaven and Voyager? Nothing as gross as that. I'm not cleaning the holodeck. Fuck you, Janeway.
Oh, no. That's a reason that's a lower decks thing.
Oh, my God. All right. Well, thanks, Kirby. Let's do recommendations. I'll let you go first because I'm still trying to narrow my one down. What do you have to recommend?
All right. My recommendation here is I finally finished the third Romnibus.
And?
It is very good. Where it transitioned from like the horror book in like the 50s, like the 30s, 40s, to where it goes into this big epic final battle between the Wraiths. And the interesting thing for me is that ends around issue 65, 66, and then it's like, oh, what do I do now? And he just kind of goes off into space and goes on some Silver Surfer-esque adventures. I guess before really Silver Surfer was doing that.
Yeah, Silver Surfer didn't have a book at that time.
Yeah, and then eventually he makes it back to his home planet, where he fights the next generation of the Space Knights, and eventually, through reasons I can't fully detail quickly, he reunites with Brandy, who was also returned back to human, and he's in his human form, and they go off and live happily ever after. And it's a really satisfying conclusion to the story. And from the art side is we do unfortunately lose Sal Buscema, and we get Steve Ditko, and it is clearly that Ditko was doing a lot of basic layouts, and the inkers were doing the heavy lifting, because we'll get Craig Russell, we'll get Brett Breeding, we'll get John Byrne for one issue.
The inkers are really top notch with him. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like I have a thing about 70s Kirby and 70s Ditko. I mean, I like Ditko Spidey. I like Ditko Doc Strange. I think it looks really fucking amazing, and his horror stuff and his detective stuff. But he some of it he doesn't transition. His art doesn't change, and I don't think it holds up. And he's not given good inkers, or not inking himself. But at times he does, because his Starman, that stuff in Adventure Comics, that's Romeo Tangel, and that shit's fucking gorgeous. It works really well, and I think so is his creeper in the when they brought it back. And I don't mind his stuff in ROM because the inkers fix it.
Yeah, no, the inkers fix it, and they do it like what the final war with the Dire Wraiths is. What would be now like a 12-issue mega series crossover today, because you get the Avengers, you get the Fantastic Four, Alpha Flight, the new Defenders. It's a stacked cast, as you know, they finally take care of the Dire Wraith invasion, and Forge from the X-Men plays a huge role in it.
Yeah, it's a good comic. It is built. Have you read a lot of Mantlo runs?
No, not really.
You'll see why.
You keep saying his Hulk.
His Hulk is good. His Micronauts is just like a ROM. In Micronauts, it's Mike Golden, then it's Pat Broderick, then it's Jackson Geiss. Oh no, yeah, dude. It's the first 12 issues of Micronauts. Straight up, that could have been a series one and done, hardcover, great maxi series. One because it's him, but it's the same thing, and every issue is written by Bill Mantlo.
Nice. I love when a writer is actually able to go and have these, decade long run.
He
Or not.
he wrote Hulk. The only person who wrote Hulk longer than him is David.
Oh yeah, David was on for like 12 years or
Yeah,
something.
see,
right?
those are some things I would like. I would like to read that era, but I don't know. They'd have to reissue Volume 1 or something, or have it in. I'll probably do Epics. Some of that shit's out in Epics. I might have to do it in two, multiple formats because I like to read it. But I am reading. See, I would hope I'm reading, folks. I'm reading Hulk from issue 1 of the first 6 issues through Tales of Astonish into it because I bought the first 2 omnis, and I've never read most of that. 99% of. I may have read 5 or 6 issues in these because we don't get Trimp's not even. They're not up to Trimp Severin in Volume 2. Marie Severin, yes. Trimp, it's John and Trimp and her husband. But I like that. That stuff I like. I'm glad you liked Rom because I've sold to people on Sal Alone, but also it's just Bill Mantlo, man. He builds a world, and is it just basic Marvel comic? Yeah, but it's better than a lot of other bigger titles I've read.
Yeah, and it changes genres like throughout the entire series.
I just got to the horror part, where it switches over to the haunted house and space and all that shit. Aiken and Garvey are inking Sal, and
looks amazing.
Oh yeah, because another person on Micronauts is Danny Bulandini as a penciler, and he's a good inker on Sal during some of those. He inks very similar to Aiken and Garvey. That kind of heavy. It's not so heavy. It's like Tony Diz and Inga, who for some reason Roy Thomas wanted to ink everybody. Stop it. I don't think he works with people.
He works on specific characters.
Yeah, like Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
But not superhero stuff. It's a wrong medium. But is it? So mine is I'm jumping around, folks, and it's kind of crazy what I've read and not read. I'm reading Hulk for the first time. I'm enjoying it. Thor is really fucking weird at the beginning. It is nothing like any other Thor I've ever read. I'm glad I'm going into it blind. I've been jumping around. I've been buying stuff and trying to reach out. I have started Vinland. I don't know if I've talked about that on the podcast.
A little bit.
Yeah, I've enjoyed that. I got the first 3 volumes. I'm going to hold off, but they're good. But I got to say, Kirby's doing Longbow Hunter. I haven't talked about this except in it. I'm reading the Golden Age Green Arrow. It's Archive Volume 1. So I guess they could do 2 more. And then I thought Kirby was in the 40s, but his stuff's in 51. And it has never been.
Oh, Jack Kirby. Duh.
Yeah. Jack Kirby did it in the 50s when they were trying to get it to sell better. He hadn't done FF yet. I mean, it's 10 years before he does FF. So that stuff's amazing, and I've had it in like trade backs. I would like them to. It's never been done in oversight, but I'm really digging it. I mean, they're throwaway one and dones. The art is what I call above par Golden Age art. It's not as rushed. George Papp has a very specific style. It doesn't look like. You see his Legion. Oh, okay, there's that. But it doesn't look like his Legion because it's more square-jawed, 1940s kind of heroes. There's no origin. He just is. It's kind of cool. But it's really wonderful, folks. I don't know what's on the app. The app is but the archive I got for nothing, maybe $50. I don't have many I don't have many golden. It's the only. Did they call it a Golden Age? I don't know what they call it. It's 40s, but it doesn't look like. Doesn't have the brown. It doesn't have the cover dressing that the Golden Age stuff does. That DC does. They have all different colors. Like Silver Age is gray and blue, and Golden Age is tan and red. They look nice, but they look very different. Marvel has a specific look on most of theirs. 90% of them look that way. Especially if it's Silver Age or whatever, but DC is, once you get to modern age, post Bronze Age, it's all over the place, which is fine. I don't mind. It looks, I'm shelf. I like shelf porn. So, but I really recommend it. I mean, it's Murray Boltinoff. To come to think of it, he's writing it. And it's good. It is good. It's a good superhero comic. I understand why it lasted so long. Because I think some of the people that were on the leading comics, the two sides, had better artists. Because have you ever looked at a Seven Soldiers story?
No. Outside of like a panel on the internet, no.
Oh, well, I did tell you this, dude. Unlike the All-Star comics, where you have some art that's really good and some looks a little rushed and there's an inconsistency.
Yeah.
There's zero inconsistency in the Seven Soldiers. I think the most cartoony is Star Spangled Kid, but the George Crab Green Arrow is amazing. So, all right, folks, that's it for this one. I'm gonna drop this today. We record it, so it's the 21st or 22nd of February. It will go up either today or tomorrow. I will edit this weekend. I will be back Tuesday. There will be TED Talk Part 2, where I cover Shanghai in space. I have lots of thoughts about that in both its original format and its last. I'm not going to do a deep dive. I'm just going to talk about the Starman and give you a general sense of. One day I will probably cover all the parts, and have guests talk about the different characters, but I'm not ready for that. So, but I'm gonna get back on thing, and I'm gonna hopefully record this week the next part of Project Pegasus, because I'll do the first 3 issues of the 6th part, which is good. And my Marvel 2-in-1 Epic 3 is on its way. I'm very excited. I may pull out the volume 1 and read some of the early ones. So, all right, folks. Thank you again, Kirby. And
thank you for bringing me back.
Anytime, man. Anytime for Legion. All right, folks. That's it. So be safe, be smart. Please be kind to one another, even the people you want to punch in the throat. And read some comics. Read some Legion.